Hey YouTube, it's Marita and welcome to another edition of the Nurse Lounge. And in this edition, I'm going to answer a question that was left in one of my comments for one of my videos. And the question, or what the statement was, they wanted me to do a video on talking about the ADN, the Associate's Degree Nurse, and what their roles would be in a hospital setting versus a nursing home setting. So if you want to see what my answer is, stay tuned. My name is Dr. Marita P. I'm a registered nurse, been a nurse for 16 and a half years. My specialty is OB/GYN, well baby nursery. I am a nurse educator. I teach at an HBCU and I am doctorally prepared. So with all that said, I want to go ahead and answer the question of what the roles would be for Adn Nurse in those two perspective places, so that you have a better idea, or that she has a better idea, what the outlook would be for that type of degree, and where you could work, what roles you would have, shall I say, in that field when it comes to being an ADN prepared nurse. All right, so let's go ahead and tackle the hospital first. That is the easiest really to talk about, because most people actually know about the roles of an ADN nurse. So, but before I go there, I want to talk about, so you have an understanding of what the intention of the ADN nurse was. The intention. This is not what's going on today, so no need to come in the comments, because I already know. I'm a nurse educator. I did the research. I teach the class, so I know what I'm talking about. With that being said, the intention of the ADN nurse is that, or was that he or she was to be the nurse that did most of the tasks. We needed nurses at a point in time. We had a nursing shortage, which we still do have a nursing shortage, but back when the ADN program was birthed, shall we say, it was because of the fact that the BSN program at the time took about 5 years to complete. And because it took 5 years to complete, roughly, at that point in time, initially, they needed to get nurses out sooner. Okay, they were having wars, they were having soldiers that were being injured, and nurses were needed. Okay, so we needed to get nurses out quick. So that's why the 2-year program was implemented, or birthed, or made a come to the forefront. So the purpose of that was, again, to come in and do the tasks, do the things that you actually do on the floor now. Do the things that even the BSN does on the floor now. So everything that you do, manage patient care, things like that, that was the role of the ADN. That was the intention of the ADN at that point in time. Now, with that being said, what was the BSN's intention at that point in time? He or she, as a BSN prepared nurse, was to be considered, or is considered, the professional nurse. Don't come for me. I'm just the messenger. The BSN is supposed to be the entry point of nursing as a professional nurse. As a professional nurse, okay? I'm just telling you what the research says. It's in the textbooks, okay? That is what it states. So, with that in mind, the BSN is supposed to be able to lead, go into leadership, management. And so it's supposed to be that the BSN would be the charge nurse or the director of the unit. They would not necessarily be doing the day-to-day activities that the nurses today do. So that was the intention, okay? That was the intention between the two programs. With that being said, now let's go ahead and tackle her question. So knowing that as a background, that was the intention, and being that we are now at a point where hospitals are wanting magnet status, and wanting magnet status basically suggests that hospitals are wanting baccalaureate prepared nurses, because that, again, is the professional level of considered to be professional nursing, the level of professional nursing. And they get more money and grants and things like that. So they want baccalaureate prepared nurses, BSN nurses, okay? So what can we do in hospitals? Well, guess what? There are still hospitals that actually hire ADN nurses. So if you're looking for a job in a hospital, you would not go to one that has magnet status or wants to achieve magnet status, because they're not going to hire you unless you're currently enrolled in a BSN program. So in the hospital, the ADN nurse can do anything. She or he can do anything that any other nurse can do. BSN can do, period. They can do anything. They can work on any floor. And believe it or not, in today's society, he or she can actually be management. Again, that was not the intention of the BSN, of the ADN prepared nurse, to be management, but which is leadership, in case you didn't know. But that's what they do. So when you take your ADN courses, you do not have leadership classes, and you typically don't have community health classes either. Again, it's a 2-year program for a reason, to get you in, get you out, to get you to do what? Work as a nurse. The BSN nurse is prepared to be the leader, to be in leadership, those type of things. So they may start off on the floor working side by side with the ADN. However, the goal is to get them to aspire and to move up to management position. Eventually the ADN can go back to school to get the BSN or whatever they do, and then they can move up as well. That is not what's going on today. Today we have nurses who have ADNs who are actually in leadership positions. So that's how that works. That is how that works. So again, in the hospital setting, you can do whatever you want to do, as long as it's not a magnet status hospital or one who's seeking to achieve magnet status. The ADN and the BSN nurse work side by side. They do the exact same jobs typically. They don't really have it delegated in terms of, okay, because you're ADN prepared, you can do this job, and because you're BSN prepared, you can do this job. It doesn't work that way in a hospital setting, at least the ones that I have seen. If you know anything different at your facility, then comment that below. But for the most part, that is the standard, that you can work, side by side with the ADN, and BSN work side by side together doing the same things. And like I just said, the ADN can be charge nurse, can be nurse manager, can be things like that, as long as, that's what that hospital allows. Again, as long as it's not a magnet status hospital. Now, I will have to say, when it comes to the leadership positions that you may see an ADN nurse be in a hospital, a lot of times it's who you know, not what you know. And I found that to be true in nursing in general. It's who you know, not what you know. So with that being said, a lot of times people who are in those positions get in them, not because of the fact that they actually really qualify, they just know somebody. Again, the intent of those positions were leadership positions for BSN prepared nurses. All right, now the other part of the question was, versus the nursing homes. Now, when it comes to a nursing home facility, or LTC, long-term care facility, truly the LPNs is who functions as the nurses on the floor. Typically, the LPNs run the units, run the LTC on the floor. They have 20 to 30, however many patients they got a piece, 15, whatever happens to be. They run it on the floor. When it comes to an ADN, his or her role in a nursing home would probably be as the director of nursing or the assistant director of nursing of that facility. That's pretty much what they do. They push papers. They run the facility. They run the LTC, the nursing home. They're the ones who, again, deal with the state when the state comes in to check and see if you are meeting the requirements and things like that. That is what they do. They don't typically, well, this is a lie. They don't typically go to the floor to work. However, if they are a good nurse, okay, because the one thing I can't stand about management in general is that sometimes they forget that they were nurses first. So my thing is, if you see your team drowning, no matter, we're talking about BSN, ADN, I'm kind of going on a tangent here, BSN, ADN, or whatever you happen to be, if your team is drowning, you take off your management hat and you put on your nurse hat and come help your team. But I digress. That's something totally off the topic. But anyway, in this particular situation, again, management is definitely, they're management. They're the ones who run the facility. They do the paperwork. They do all those types of things. They meet with families if they need to meet with families who are having issues with their loved ones in the LTC. They handle complaints. They handle those things. They get things ready for the state. When the state comes to do a check on the residents and have the cleanliness and the things of the facility, they deal with all of that. They're not really hands-on when it comes to the patient side or the resident. I don't want to say patient, because in an LTC or nursing home, they are residents. They live there. They're not considered patients like in a hospital setting. So hopefully that gave you some better understanding of what the difference is or was or whatever it is between what the roles would be when it comes to the ADN in a nursing home facility. He or she's going to run that facility where your LPNs are the ones who are on the floor. Kind of like how if the LPNs are on the floor in a LTC, the RNs are on the floor in the hospital. Like they run the whole unit, so to speak, and they have management above them. Well, in an LTC or nursing home facility, you would have the LPNs on the floor running everything, and the ADN or BSN, because the BSN can do the same thing, will kind of run that facility, the entire facility. They are the ones who are in charge of the facility. They're the ones who are only working basically, I want to say 8 to 5, 9 to 5, well, maybe about 8 to 5 or whatever time. They really work like a 40-hour week or something like that. They come in the morning, leave in the afternoon, and they are done. Okay. They don't really handle as much of the staffing issues, but they do oversee some things like that. And again, a good nurse would come in and say, okay, you know what, I'm going to come help my team because my team is suffering. We don't have enough nurses. Let me go ahead and put on my nurse hat and take off my management hat. Hopefully to answer your question. If you have questions or comments or anything you want to talk about on this channel, then comment those below in the comment section. Also, I want to say thank you all for subscribing to the channel and for sharing the videos and commenting and liking and doing all kinds of things that you're doing. The interaction is great. I want to say this, we are very close. We are probably about 85 subscribers away from the 2,000 that I want to get in order to start doing live Q&As or just talking about nursing in general on this channel. So if you could please like, comment, subscribe, share these videos, and definitely to your nurse friends or people who are interested in nursing or thinking about coming to nursing, definitely put this channel on their radar because again, it is real. I consider myself to be direct and to the point. I don't sugarcoat anything. That's just not my nature. And because of the fact that, you know, I'm like, are we coming to nursing for the right reasons? No, some of us are not still. So I don't want to paint a picture of what nursing is not. I'd rather paint the picture of what it is. And if you still come to nursing, then you're the person we want in the nursing profession. So anyway, do those things. I'll see you at 2K so we can start these live sessions, hopefully in the next couple of months. My job where I will be done with teaching for the semester come late April. So this is March, so late April. And we will start those sessions probably in May or something like that once we get to 2K. I'm pretty sure we'll get to 2K before May. So definitely do that. And until the next time, you all take care. Bye-bye.